Hello there, friends, and welcome to Real Life Conversations for Christian Coaches. I'm your host, Teresa McCloy.
And I'm your co-host, Erica Vinson. We are so glad that you're listening in today. Here on the podcast, each week we want to have real conversations to help you grow successful and sustainable coaching businesses and yet still stay connected and grounded in what truly matters.
We'll share practical tools, honest stories, and our own experiences as coaches, as well as inviting some great guests onto the show to support you as a coach to live from a place of rest, not rush.
So whether you're just getting started or you have been coaching for years, you are in the right place. Let's dive into today's conversation.
So, today on the podcast, we have one of those great guests on the show. And when I think about supporting coaches from a place of rest, not rush, one of the places that coaches can feel the most rush is in the space of setting up all their things behind the scenes. And we can get stuck there. So, our guest today, Rachel O'Connell, is with us. And she's actually a part of our team. This is the first time we've had her on the podcast. So, Rachel, welcome in.
Thank you. Glad to be
It's
here.
great to have you. Something we should have done a long time ago. Rachel's actually been with us since right before I went on sabbatical almost a year ago. And I wanted to provide our team some support on the behind the scenes while I was gone. Not that I was doing it all, they're all very capable of doing those things. But we were just in a place in our business where we needed more of that. I would say you dual role for us, a little bit of integrator, a little bit of seeing the bigger picture with me in that space. And then the IT side or the marketing side of things. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. But she's been with us for over a year now. And we're actually in person right now as we're recording this particular podcast. So if you're watching us on YouTube, we're both in the same building. Let me say that. Erica's at home, but Rachel and I are both in the same building. She's here because we have a retreat this week with our coaches. So she's with us in person. We're thrilled, and we thought it'd be a great time to catch her for a podcast interview and just talk about all the things in her world and even what got her to this space. So, Rachel, let's start there. You've been doing this kind of work for a while, but just give us a little backstory of what got you to here to doing the work you're doing now.
Sure. So I started in the Christian coaching space back in 2017, working for a company that had coaches and grew a lot of student memberships with those coaches. And I was doing a lot of the administrative work, handling the student memberships and payroll and just that kind of behind the scenes, and transitioned into running events for them. So seeing kind of the marketing side of the coaching world. And then 2020 happened and I lost that job because events stopped and went without a job for about 10 months. And so then I decided I was going to teach myself a new skill so that I wouldn't have to depend on other people necessarily for my work. And spent a few months in a course where I was introduced to a software called Go High Level and had been working in the Christian space with Christian coaches and found that this tool, which is a white labeled software, can allow a coach, whether they're just getting started or they've been in the space for a while, to create all of their business in one space and have everything that they need. I like to solve problems, so figuring out how the software worked was very fun. And so now I have my own agency on Go High Level, and I build the behind the scenes for other Christian coaches. But then I also help some of my clients are coaches who use the same software, but not through my agency. And since not very many people like running the tech space, I will be in their Go High Level helping them to run their businesses as well.
And that's how you and I met. And then I introduced you to the team is we actually were at an event together where you were actually running the event. So one of her other skills, many times you all have multiple things, but she was running the event for someone that I knew. at a conference. And then he suggested that I connect with you, and the rest is history. And you've been a crucial part of our team in setting up. I was just at that time getting onto the Go High Level software, actually through someone else. So I purchased the software, but you have taken it to another level for us. And I know, Erica, you can attest to that because you don't have to do the things that you were doing. So we've been able to let go and let you sit in a little different seat, and Lindsay sit in a little different seat. So it's been huge for us as a team.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love what you said, Rachel. There was that event, a life event of I lost my job. I went and taught myself a new skill and created an agency, which actually created agency for you in the work you were doing. I think that's some of what coaches, they go, okay, I have this skill now. And so how can I create some agency so that the behind the scenes stuff doesn't overwhelm me? Because I'm a trained coach. I may not be trained in the business work. So when you think about actually serving coaches, what would you recommend coaches have set up behind the scene so that they can actually embrace some of this agency you're talking about?
Sure. So I think it's always nice to have a website, and it doesn't have to be anything very elaborate, but to have a place where when you're talking to someone, whether it's on Zoom or in person, kind of business cards are a little outdated. But if you can just say, hey, go to my website, and the website can be very simple, it can just have a little about you, why you're doing what you do, your mission statement. So they are very clear on who you help and who you work with, and how you help them with just a very clear but simple customer journey. So they know if they wanted to get started with you, where do they start? I think it's really great to have that tool to just say, after we're done connecting, feel free to go to my website. And if you want to talk further, you can connect with me there. So have a connecting form on your website or an email that they can get a hold of you. And I would say to create a lead magnet, which is just a simple piece of content. It can be a simple PDF, the 10 ways that you can XYZ, just something to give them a little taste of what you do. But that also, in them wanting that, they're going to give you their email address and their name in exchange. And so you can start to build an email list so that you have a list of people to market to and share your services with in between your times of connecting face to face with people.
Yeah. And I love what you're saying there, because it's not the field of dreams, build it and they will come. That's not why you have a website. And I hear so many coaches that we work with in our certification or just out in the marketplace that want to connect with me. And they're like, I'm working on my website. And once my website gets done, then my business is ready. And I'm like, no, it's you getting out and connecting through local networking. And you might say, those aren't even my client, but it's you saying what you do over and speaking it and talking about it and getting comfortable that will help even the copy be better on your website, and you have more clarity so that they can give that to someone like you to go into a service, go high level and say, build this out for me. I just need something simple. And the other thing I hear in the marketplace sometimes right now is, oh, email lists, or you don't need to build an email list. You don't need to do. And I am telling you over and over again that lead magnet, and it can be a PDF, it could be a video that's privately held on YouTube that they go watch you talk and be animated or whatever and hear your voice, the no trust. Anything like that is absolutely something simple you should be doing. Email is not dead. You could use our numbers if you want to. Rachel, you just did a report for me not too long ago of what's our top 5 lead generators that's building our email list. And I would say 2 or 3 of them are all just simple PDF downloads.
Yes. Yeah. And I would say too, in this space, you want to have an email list, but it's not going to be the only thing that's going to build your business. So you have to have a buffet of ways that people can connect with you. Just you have your in-person connections and you have your website online so people can find you there. It's never just going to be one thing that you have online, and it's never just going to be one way that you're showing up with people that's going to build your business. It's always going to be a buffet of you marketing yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
And listening to both of you, the word that just kept coming up is connection. All of the things you're talking about are to create a connection. When you think about a brick and mortar business that we might set up, you're really establishing a place where someone can return and continue to come back. You mentioned the business card. How many times have we received a great card and you go, where did I put that? I have no idea. But it's a place to return, just like a brick and mortar business.
Yeah, it's like having your door open. That's what a website is, because we know that people are at all times of the day and night, like searching and scrolling and looking, and sometimes to their own detriment. They come across maybe your LinkedIn profile, or they might come across your Facebook page, or they might come across your website for some reason, or people go to check out, are you legit? Who are you? What are you talking about? And they're always looking through the lens of, are you a right fit for me or for something that I have a gap in? We often talk about that in coaching. What's the gap? What are they looking for? So I think you used a word though that was key, Rachel, and that's simple. Don't compare what you might build in year one to what it might look like in year 5. I think, and I was just trying to think through that. 1, 2, I know I've done, and I've been doing this now for almost 10 years. I think I've done 3 iterations, maybe 4. I'm not sure. Some on different platforms as a platform Go High Level comes up. I've done WordPress. I've been on Kajabi. So I think that Erica's been with me through most of those iterations, that as your business grows, you can add another page, especially in a service like you're offering. You can add a page that has offers. You can add a podcast page. You can add layers to what you have there. But in the beginning, it's just simple.
Yeah, just an opportunity for people to, go a little bit deeper from maybe what they've heard from someone else about you, or they heard you talking somewhere and, ooh, I want to go find more about this person. Just enough to get to know you a little bit to keep you curious.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just talk a little bit more in detail, actually, of, you said you have this agency that you can serve other coaches with a tool like Go High Level. We'll put her links in the show notes, but it's actually called JubileeMarketingHouse.com. So we'll put that in the show notes. We'll say it again at the end if you want to connect with Rachel. But let's talk about back when I started 10 years ago. I feel ancient when I say that, but back when we started the REALIFE Process, you had to piecemeal some of these services together. You might have had something that did your email, something else that did your online scheduling. You might have had somewhere where your website lived. Then you might have used another tool for, and we'll have to explain this. So I want you to define like CRM. What is that? I remember even having, and Erica, you may remember this too. We actually had somewhere that we set up our lead pages where we had an offer. I remember there was a time where I was using 5 to 6 different softwares. So can you walk us through something like a Go High Level, what all it's covering now that's in one place?
Sure. Yeah. So the Go High Level agency is a one-stop shop, and they make it very simple for a coach or an entrepreneur to have their entire business in one place. So you can build websites and sales funnels. And the difference between those two things is really just a name. You can build a website has multiple pages, a sales funnel has steps through a funnel. They pretty much act the same way. You have your marketing platform where you can actually create your emails and your email sequences for nurturing and following up with leads, or when they opt in to your lead magnet and you have to deliver the lead magnet and then follow up with them, you create that workflow. And then you can also use that marketing tool to push posts out to your social media accounts. So that's all in one place. Then you have your invoicing or your payment system. So instead of having to do separate invoicing through a Stripe or authorize.net, that integrates right into Go High Level. So you can take payments and connect all those onto your pages and offers. There's also the calendars. So no more Calendly or Acuity, but you can just create calendars within the system so people can book calls and it will pushed directly to your private Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar, whatever you use. Yeah, so really everything that you need to run your business as a coach or an entrepreneur is all in one place. And to have all of those systems in-house talking to each other is so much more beneficial because then all of your data is in one place. You can see your open rates, you can see what links people are clicking on, what they're interested in, how many times people have come to your website and converted through an opt-in or an offer. So it gives you a lot of background information to know where you need to tweak things, where you can put your focus, what's working, what's not working.
I love you said this is the one-stop shop, and your website beautifully been titled not just integrator, but chief chaos coordinator. And on our team, just thinking about even how the two of us work together, Rachel, as you were mentioning all those things, as Teresa was talking about all the different platforms, I learned those things early on in the business in doing that. But I think partnering together, there's been a greater freedom knowing you take great pride in figuring those things out. You do it with such ease and you're so calm. And it's such a surprise sometimes to go, oh, yeah, we talked about that. You set it up. Talk a little bit about, because I'm the network director. And so we have people that come through certification. And we really worked on how does this set up for how we want to bring people into our covert certification so that I can meet with the people and connect with them in that forward facing role. But then behind the scenes, they're really being taken care of and they're actually receiving what they need. So when they come to our first certification call, they go, oh, wow, we've received everything we need and we're ready to dive in. So talk a little bit about even how you and I worked together and served in that role.
Sure. Yeah, I definitely geek out on figuring out how to automate as much as possible. And I think I get that from my grandpa. His name is Jerry, but very famous for jerry rigging things. And if there's a way to make something work, even if it's not a direct route, I will figure it out. Thankfully, Go High Level makes it pretty direct routes with most things, unless you're trying to be super creative. In the cohort process, when you sign up to be part of the certification, we have basically automated that as soon as you have a payment go through to sign up, it triggers you to get your onboarding email. It triggers a link to Erica's calendar. So you can have a cohort connection call booked with Erica and Erica can get to know you. And then as soon as that call is done, she says you're going to get your needs and values assessment. And that is automated as well to trigger after the appointment is done. And then it tags you in the system so that when Erica is writing emails for the cohort or the network every week, then you get those automatically. So all she has to do is create that email content and know that when she sends it to the list, that the right people are going to get that email. And then we've even got it timed out. So when you're done with your certification, some tags are removed and you're removed from things that you don't need access to anymore. So it's really taken a lot of kind of the little tiny details that you're like, I need a spreadsheet to try and remember all these things and check this box when they're done and when they've started and remember the dates, and removed a lot of that from Erica's plate.
Yeah. It reminds me of a word we talk about a lot, which is pre-deciding. So in the process itself of a rule of life management process for you as a coach or as a person, we talk about make as many pre-decisions as you can. And so what Rachel's doing through this software is helping you as a coach pre-decide what you want it to look like, but you only have to talk about it once. And then she creates a workflow, I think is the language you use for it. It reminds me of my old computer programming days, which I geek out too. I have to be careful of if this, then that. Like when you used to draw a flow chart and use triangles and squares and diamonds and all these things and go, if they say yes here, it goes this way down the flow chart. Or if they say no, it goes this way. And then all these automations happen within 24 hours or 48 hours or 7 days, which is really what an email sequence is as well. Like they get this when they get the download, then they get another one. You guys have everybody listening has signed up for those in one way, shape, or form. But that's what I think this beauty of one software, though, nothing gets caught in a loop of, I'm trying to tell this software to trigger this software. If you are a geek, like all three of us on this call can really be geeky. And you've heard of things like, I have to set up a Zape or a Zap or whatever they're called, or use a software to tell this other software what to do. That's what I love about what you know how to operate in with Go High Level is there is no other platform that it catches in. If we don't set it up right, it's not going to work, but that's on Rachel on our end. If the workflow is broken, we go to Rachel, hey, this didn't work. But I have caught myself so much in the last 6 months or a year because, again, when Rachel came on the team, I went on sabbatical. And when I got back, her and Erica had talked through all of this workflow. And every time Erica says, I need to, or Lindsay, for example, on the other side of things, said, I need to do this, Erica or Rachel will go, I can do that in a workflow. Like, I can set that up automatically. I came back and went, are we even doing it? Like, it's all happening automatically, which is a beautiful thing once you trust the system. And you can always go in and adjust it if it's broken or if it's not working or it feels too automated that you're like, no, I want a personal touch there. But what I love, Erica, and I think what you were referencing, it allows you as a coach, and in our case, Erica as a team member, to do what she's best at and to have more space and time to really have those connections with people and to do other personal emails that she can follow up on and other reach outs at how are you doing and where are you at, or to send them a note or whatever. So it creates space, which we're all about space and margin, for things to just happen. And you might talk through it once with somebody like a Rachel and go, hey, this is how I want it to happen. Okay, let's set it up. A year from now, you might want it to look a little different, but you start somewhere with things. So I love the automation piece. I love the ability of what I know you've done for our team with that. With us just for a minute. We've used the word agency a couple of times. I was not familiar with the marketing agency terms. I come from brick and mortar business as well. I knew my radio guy came by every now and then to do radio ads or whatever. I thought that was marketing. But what's an agency concept? What do they do? What's the internal and the external of how those two things work together?
Sure. So I look at internal marketing as the tools, the systems, the functionality of what you need to do to put yourself out in front of your clients. So that's your website, your sales funnel, your lead magnet funnels, your email list. But then the external marketing agency is more about the campaign strategy, thinking about what am I doing in the month, in the quarter, in the year to get my brand in front of my target market, my ideal audience over and over again so they get familiar with me. So that's going to be your social media, your email campaigns, your workshops, webinars, courses, things like that, that are giving your audience value so they can get to know you and your brand.
Yeah. So an internal and an external of that. So yeah, for sure. Erica, I don't know if you have anything there that you want to add in. I've got another question, but I'll let you, I just keep jumping in. So I'll let you share as well.
No, just as folks are listening, Rachel, even to the example we gave about really functioning within your giftedness and that space that we created, I'm just thinking there's someone there that had the same relief that as they were listening, thinking, oh my goodness, I've spent hours and I am chasing my tail. I love the coaching part, but this is life draining for me. Where do I start? And so I'm just curious, what would you say to the coach that is connecting, but also, okay, now what?
I would say you have to decide if you want to spend the time learning how to do some basic things. There's certainly ways you can. YouTube is very helpful for learning things. That's how I learned the software. So you have to decide, do I want to spend so many hours a week figuring out how to do the things that I need to do, create a simple website? What platform do I want to start on? And a lot of those decisions, you start with where you're at, but try to think about where I want to go and what can I do now that's going to lead me in that direction. So if I start on this platform, is it going to allow me to grow and scale even though I don't have that knowledge and those skills right now? That's where I want to go. Can I do that on this system, on this platform? And or you decide I don't want to do that. So how much can I afford to spend, invest in my business to have someone else create these simple tools for me so that I can get started and not worry about the stuff that I don't know how to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the values are always a filter for that too. You just lit up when you talked about learning and the joy it was for you. So just inviting anyone listening to say, just pay attention to that.
And when you think about the amount of time, Erica, when you and I are meeting with coaches, and encouraging them and coaching with coaches, we find they're like, I want to work about 25 or 30 hours a week. This might be and there are those that want to be at 40 hours a week and it's a full time. But if you're at a place or you're at 40 hours a week, and if I have to do all the technology and back end, it's going to take me at 60 hours a week, because I never want to give someone the false belief that, oh, it's just, you don't ever have to do that kind of thing, because that's not true. The follow up. But if some of that can be automated, what would that look like? Or if some of that can be held all in one space where you can easily get into it and see it, and the data that you talked about. And I do think you have to think beyond just where I'm at right now at year 1 through 3, or even at year 3, where do I want to be at year 5? And if I do that in the right space and right place, it can grow and I'm building on something, rather than talk to so many coaches over the years and myself, I just gave the example. I built it, but now that doesn't work for me anymore. So I need to move everything to somewhere else. I need to move everything. So we're not just advocating for Go High Level. I don't want you to hear that, but yet we have found it to be a tool that Rachel knows well, until we found the tool and the person that match together. And I think that's a beautiful thing. What would you need? What is your budget that you would need to go? It would be such a relief to just tell someone, this is what I want to happen. And it happens, and you set it up once, rather than I just spent 10 hours trying to figure it out myself. And I would have rather been connecting with people than technology. The other thing I think can happen, and I'm just going to call us all out who are wired that way, is we can bury ourselves in this side of things. And it feels like we're doing something. And then we wonder why we haven't made the revenue that we wanted in the next 6 months, or we haven't got the number of clients on our calendar, or that group program started, because we're so buried in I got to get all this perfect before. And I'm an advocate for do it messy, do it broken, try it, figure it out. People are so forgiving. Now, I don't mean do it sloppy, but take the risk and do it. Just start, get out there, build it a little bit, enough so you can go have conversations and get your head up and into seeing into the eyes of people, not into the workflow. Because there are people like Rachel that are talented and they geek out on doing that stuff, and also have the experience to know what's working in the marketplace. One of the biggest benefits that I've experienced over a year now with working with Rachel is she knows our business, and she knows who our target audience is, who our market is. And if I'm not careful, I could listen to 5 or 6 gurus out in the marketplace, but they don't really know me. They don't know my heart. They don't know our team. They don't know. So if you're a one-to-one coach, you need a coach. We're big believers in you need a coach, but I'm a big believer in you need someone like a Rachel that knows your business and what you're trying to envision. And Rachel, I'd love for you to speak to that. It's taken you a while to know our business.
Yeah.
You don't come in and turn over things to somebody and go, oh, now you know what I want to do. Like, it's a relationship.
Yeah, it's been over a year that I have been working with you, and we actually just worked on my real life view today, and being around the content for a year And the conversations that you guys have and the language and the culture has just given me a better understanding and just so many different avenues to absorb what you do and who you are that, yes, now I feel like I grasp it all. And it's a lot easier for me to talk about it with potential clients or just when I'm writing email copy or creating landing pages for you. But it takes a while because there's only so much you can get from the 2D website screen in front of you information. And for everybody, their brand is more than just what on the screen. It's the culture and the personality of the leadership and the personality of the client base, the kind of the hub that they're creating. And that all makes an impact on the voice and the message for the brand.
I would just say one of the two biggest impacts that it make is I'm always working with a coach or have someone that's speaking into me, but I'm also trusting someone to help me. And I'm blessed that I have 2 or 3 people on our team, 3 to be exact, that are helping me envision what that looks like in their area and where they speak in. But if you're just getting started, I think having someone that you allow into your business from the behind the scenes technology to say, Rachel's a coach. How do you envision that? Where do you see that taking you? Where do you see that building? And then has the skill set to go help you build it. The confidence that gives you as a coach to go, this is going to work. My clients are going to get a contract for them to sign after we have a discovery call. If it's a yes or a no, it's going to go this way or this way. Like, you're not going, okay, now I want to get off this call. I got to send 4 more things and I got to do this and I got to do that. Now with this kind of software, that is a done for you thing, but you have to build a relationship with someone you trust and figure it out together of how this could work. So that's been our experience working with Rachel. And just there's another phrase,
Chief Chaos Coordinator.
Chief chaos coordinator. I think you also have an email that says Rachel to the. That's the way I felt a year ago. Was I just need somebody to save us a little bit from, so we can do what we're gifted to do and sit in the seats that we're gifted to be in. So it's been a blessing, my friend. I can't say enough about having someone like a Rachel in your corner that can rescue you from some of these things. And we are thrilled. But how can people get more in touch with you?
Sure. So you can go to my website, which is jubileemarketinghouse.com. And I do have a contact form on my website, and you can learn a little bit more about how you can work with me. I do have a lot of skills. The main thing is solving problems with your tech and the internal part of your business. So reach out if you have any questions.
As we wrap up this episode, just consider, what action do we invite them to take today, Erica?
As you're saying that, even Teresa, I'm thinking there's many people that are listening that are thinking, I need rescued. And maybe at the beginning, as you were going on sabbatical and we had some things that were getting settled, but there's a collaboration now for me that is a kind of beyond words joy, just to say it's not really about even rescuing anymore. It's really just about teaching and collaborating and working together. And if this is something that you're curious about, take a step and ask yourself the question, at what cost? Because as you mentioned, Rachel, you're either going to learn this, and if you have a value of discovery and learning and you notice that's something that gives you life, then what's your next step? But if this is something that drains you, then what's your next step in connecting with someone, even for a conversation, to see what's possible? Really pay attention to that. And in one of those 2 areas, take a step forward.
Absolutely. And that's the crossroads that you come to many a time. What feels life-giving, what feels life-draining in this part of your, this ties a little bit, the series that we did this summer around the 7 P's of business for a Christian coach. So many of those P's of business are behind the scenes things, like, what are my particulars? What are my numbers? What are my processes? How am I really connecting with the people, the clients, and doing that well? Is that what you want to do yourself? If it is, go for it. It's life-giving. But I know even for many of the local business owners that I work with, it's not life-giving. They want to be providing the service that they provide with the one-to-one face-to-face, and they want all the rest of it to happen in the background. So don't feel like if you're in the coaching business, you're unique, because this is across the board for most businesses. It's not, but there are people that it is the thing that they love to do. Yeah, that series might be something you want to reference back to tie in with what Rachel's been talking about today. So thanks again, Rachel, for being with us. It's been a joy, my friend.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for allowing me to be on the team.
Yeah. I'd say a year ago, it was an extraordinary moment. It was that shift of, wow, I think we might have solved a little bit of a problem for us. And that really was a person to sit in that seat for us. That was an extraordinary moment. Maybe today will be for you, just thinking about this and discerning, as Erica invited. Just remember that every ordinary day has an extraordinary moment. You just have to look for them. And we'll be back next week for more conversation from the real life of Christian coaching.